Tonight, a First Coast News exclusive. Can the sheriff fire an officer for gross misconduct? It's not as easy as you might think. After a Jacksonville SWAT officer showed up for firearms training drunk, weaving as he drove his police vehicle, he was fired almost on the spot. But that decision was reversed in less than a month. On Your Side's Ann Schindler brings us this exclusive investigation into why an officer is headed back to work against the sheriff's wishes.
It was a lot of alcohol in a very short period of time.
A fifth of vodka in a single night.
He quits drinking at 3 a.m. in the morning, and he shows up for training at 8 a.m. in the morning after drinking a fifth of vodka. That's a big problem. It's huge.
Those few hours of sleep, First Coast News crime analyst Mark Bachman says, were no match for Officer Gifford's blood alcohol content when he arrived for live ammunition SWAT training.
Okay. When you went to the gun range, were you under the influence of alcohol?
Yes.
You were?
Yes.
He was staggering, having to hold on to the rail to walk up. Admittedly, he said he was drunk.
So drunk, 3 other officers confiscated his gun belt and took him to JSO headquarters for a breathalyzer.
Blew a .3.
According to an internal affairs investigation, at 11 a.m., more than 7 hours after his last vodka seltzer, Gifford blew a .316. That's 4 times the legal limit of .08. More importantly, it's a flagrant violation of JSO's limit of .00.
JSO has a zero tolerance approach to that. It's termination.
Lieutenant Michael Schell, who oversees JSO's internal affairs department, says there is no acceptable alcohol level while on duty.
There is no justifiable reason why a police officer should have alcohol in their system while working as a police officer driving a JSO vehicle.
Gifford told the officers who took his gun belt, "I'm drunk." And it wasn't the first time. According to the Internal Affairs report, when he was questioned by investigators, he admitted reporting for duty impaired 5 to 10 times.
Could they have arrested him for DUI at that time based on the observations? Yeah.
The fact that he wasn't arrested was a mistake, according to Under Sheriff Pat Ivey. At a December meeting of the city's Civil Service Board, he said the officers, quote, messed up by removing him from the scene, making a DUI arrest more difficult.
I still think they could have charged him if they wanted to.
Gifford declined our interview request, but according to a transcript of his testimony at the Civil Service Board meeting, he admitted to struggles with alcohol and said he was committed to sobriety. He said getting caught was, quote, almost a blessing because he could no longer keep his problem a secret. "I've literally been scared straight," he told the board. But the undersheriff called the case egregious, saying Gifford was so drunk he was, quote, knocking at the door of toxicity, yet he still drove 30 miles to the gun range.
Do I think he needs to be terminated? Yes.
The city's Civil Service Board disagreed. The volunteer board, whose members are appointed by the mayor, JEA, and the school board, decided by a vote of 4 to 2 that the decision to fire Gifford was manifestly unjust, a legal term meaning shocking to the conscience.
In this case, I don't think that's the case. I think the termination was just.
The board voted to reinstate Gifford after a 90-day suspension, with the requirement that he submit to alcohol screenings for a year. JSO Director Lawrence Schmidt said JSO will welcome Gifford back, but told the board their vote, quote, defies logic, overturning the decision of an elected sheriff and substituting their judgment for his. That, he told them, is manifestly unjust. JSO plans to challenge the board's decision in court.
I think I would never touch booze.
Gifford is still serving his suspension and has not yet returned to duty. Ann Schindler, First Coast News, on your side.
And you can find much more about this story online, including JSO's full explanation of why Gifford wasn't arrested for DUI. You can also find statements from Gifford's attorney and the sheriff's office.